Alright, so we're going to be replacing the screen on this ASUS C300M notebook PC. I believe this is a Chromebook, so let's open this up. Yep, it's a Chromebook ASUS C300. Alright, so first thing we're going to want to do is disconnect the battery. I already opened it up earlier just to see the screen. I didn't take out the battery though, I was just checking the screen model number. So if you're gonna mess with the screen connection, you want to take out the battery first or disconnect it and drain the power. So we're gonna remove all the screws, and you want to keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shapes, and lengths. So the way I do that, you see the pattern that you take it out. There's 4 across this way, so I put them on my desk. 4 across, then I start a new row. You see 3 down there, do 3 across, and so on and so forth. So that's how you keep the screws in order. That's how you keep track of them. And then there's 4 down there. So we're just going to remove all these screws. Okay. All right. So this one, the way that it should be done is you actually want to remove the whole screen assembly, but I found I could actually do that without doing it. So I'll show you that way. And then I was able to reassemble it, so it should be okay. Alright, once you got all those screws out, we're going to pop the cover off. So to do that, here you can see between the red bottom, there's actually this white part here. So what I do is I get my fingernails in the gap between there. You can use pry tools if you want, but I do that, and then you push on the back and you can see it pops the cover off. Okay, so you're going to want to be careful underneath. I'm not sure which side comes out first, but we're just going to go ahead and pop all the clips out. Okay, go along the side as well here, just like that. Okay, oh, this side is stuck for some reason. Oh, we got all of that. Let me rotate this. I don't know why this side, oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. Get all those clips out. All right, you want to be careful lifting it up. Let's see. So it looks like the keyboard palm rest assembly comes out separately. So this part is stuck here. So we are going to have to try and pop this stuff out along the back. Oops, sorry. There we go. Just like that. All right, go ahead and pop that around the back as well. There we go. Okay, let's see if we can pop it out now. Most likely there's clips along there as well, but they are kind of stuck. You can't really reach back there. So you are going to have to kind of get this and then you can wiggle it. There we go. And then you want to be careful because there are cables attached on the inside here. So we're going to open this slowly just to see. And here you can see the cables go that way. So I think it might be easier if I open it this way. I'm not really going to be able to show this on video, I don't think. Let me see. Let me try doing it this way. Okay, so here, there's clips. You want to flip these clips up, just like that. There you go. Once you flip that latch, then you can pull the cable back. It's kind of caught on something. Let's see. You might have to pull it up slightly while you kind of pull it. Wiggle it, just like that. And then you got the other cable here. This is for the trackpad. The other one was for the keyboard. And we can pop that out. Let me zoom in better to show you this. So the connectors are like that. Normally I would leave it flat like this, and then I would kind of move the cable like that to plug it in. But anyways, there you can see the keyboard and the trackpad. And we are going to need the keyboard connected to do the power reset. So let's see here. We got the battery. So right now we're going to disconnect the battery. To disconnect the battery, let me zoom in. What you do is there's this silver piece here, you slide that up, and then you pull this white piece up, just like that, okay? And the battery's disconnected. If you need, the battery model number is right here, okay? B31N1346. Okay, and inside I don't really see too much we can mess with here. I guess I will take out the whole screen just because it's easy enough. There's only 6 screws holding it down and the wireless antenna. I don't want to take this out. Sorry, let me actually zoom in. I don't want to take this metal plate out. Or actually, let me zoom out, sorry. Okay, so I don't want to take this metal plate out because it's holding down the heat. This is the heat sink. And if I do that, I have to redo the thermal paste. From the thickness of this, I'm going to assume that the RAM isn't replaceable. It doesn't look like there's replaceable RAM. It might be, so if you want, you can take this out and check, but I don't want to have to redo their thermal paste since the thing they asked me to do is to replace the screen. Anyways, I'm going to reattach the keyboard right now. If anything, you could actually disconnect the... I'm going to turn this so it's easier for me. But if anything, you could actually disconnect the battery with that before taking out the whole keyboard, if you can. That way you can do the power button press and hold without having to put this back in. But here you can see I'm just plugging the keyboard back in. It's a little bit tricky here. Let me see. It's kind of tough. I might have to do it off camera. Let me see. My head's going to get in the way, I think. Okay. Kind of want to use the blue tab to help pull it and guide the cable in. Alright, if you can actually grab the blue tab itself and use that to kind of help with the cable. And you want to make sure that both blue tabs go over the white raised parts, alright? Then you can push that latch back down. The keyboard's attached, so now I'm going to press and hold the power button 10 to 15 seconds. You do this after removing the battery, okay? Because if you don't, then there's a good chance that you can fry the backlight circuit for the computer. Alright, so make sure press and hold the power button here for 10 to 15 seconds. Alright, once you do that, we can take the keyboard back out. Just flip the latch back up. Oh, I'm actually able to kind of get that in view of the camera. Okay, there we go, just like that. And then you kind of have to pull it up slightly as you pull back and wiggle it. There we go. Alright, so we got the keyboard out. I'll set that aside. Okay, now what we're going to do is remove the screen from here. Okay, so we have the LCD connector here. Let me zoom in so it's easier to see how to remove this. So to remove this connector, what you do, there's this tape adhesive here. We're going to peel this back. The best way to do this is to kind of roll it straight back. Don't pull it upwards, all right? All right, just like this. And then make sure you don't pull past the black tape side, all right? So just roll the tape back just like that. Once you get it there, you can get the wings here with your fingernails or your fingers, and then you kind of just wiggle it as you pull it, and there we go. We got the LCD or LVDS connector out. All right, next we're going to remove the wireless antennas here. So the wireless antennas, you just get underneath the tail like this, and then you pull it straight up, all right? The white connector goes to auxiliary, and then the black connector goes to the main. Same thing, just go underneath and then pull it up. Alright, so now we're going to remove the screws for the hinges. So there's 3 on each side. Again, I like to keep them in order. And then also, if you have thread locker, it's always a good idea to add some thread locker to these when you put them back, so that way the hinges hold on tight. Sometimes the hinge screws come loose, and then they can actually cause damage internally. Alright, and these screws were really easy to remove, so they were probably somewhat getting there. Alright, so we got those 3 screws out. We'll go to the other side here, and we'll remove these 3 screws as well. Once you do that, you want to hold on to the screen because it will fall over. Okay, so I'm just holding on to the screen as I undo these screws. Okay, alright. I know I'm going out of the camera, but kind of have to. Alright, so there we go. Let me zoom out again. Alright, so once you get all those screws out, we should be able to just lift the screen straight up. Okay, so just grab the 2 sides and then just pull it up. Be careful with the wires, make sure they're not getting caught on anything. And there we go. So we can set this computer aside. Alright, or at the bottom, the base. Okay, let me zoom out a bit. That's too much. Alright, and the way they designed this is, let me see if this actually slides. I don't think it slides. Yeah, this doesn't slide. So, okay, last time I didn't even remove this piece, so I'm gonna do that without removing it if I don't have to. But if you want, you can try like prying this up, but it looks like it's tough to remove. So we're gonna go ahead and do it the other way like I did before. If that was the case, we didn't even have to take this out. But let me clean off the screen real quick. It has a bunch of dust on here, and I will be back. Give me a second. Okay, so I just used the toothbrush and got the dust off the hinges here. So now we're going to remove the screen bezel. So to do that, you start from the inner edge and you just pull it up while you kind of push this in towards the center. All right. I don't remember if there was adhesive on this one. If there was, I already kind of cut it off. So we'll see. I'll look inside and see. But if there's adhesive, you do have to use kind of a thin tool to cut it. Otherwise, the screen won't come out. All right. So I don't feel any adhesive in here. So I think this one actually didn't have adhesive. All right. So there we go. Yeah, I don't see any signs of adhesive on here. All right. So now we're going to move to the bottom. Same thing, you kind of just pull it up from the center part. All right, it is kind of stuck there. Maybe there's adhesive. All right, so we're gonna go here, and you kind of have to work with the bottom here because it does get caught. There are clips that go underneath this bottom piece here. All right, so it will be a little tough to remove, but we're just gonna pop this up, and yeah, there is adhesive there. So to remove the adhesive, what I do is while I'm kind of pulling this, I will get the tool and I will push down on the adhesive while I kind of lift the plastic. So just keep going, and then as the adhesive sticks, you kind of push the adhesive back down against the screen. Okay, so just like this. All right, get all these clips out. I have a customer here, so I'm gonna have to go get their computer real quick, and I will be back. All right, I'm back. So we got most of the frame out, and again, as I was saying, there's clips that go under here. Oh, this part actually popped out now easily. That's kind of weird. So was this bezel holding this down actually? Or the other way around? So I don't really see a sliding mechanism on this. It could be the customer, like from when it broke, it got damaged, but all the clips look okay. Yeah, all the clips look okay, so that's kind of weird. I guess just pulling the bezel off, I guess to remove this, you want to roll it that way. Okay, so anyways, we got that. Let's pull this bezel out of the way. Here you can, oh, actually, let me show you. Here you can see all the clips underneath. Okay, so it looks like that, and it looks like, yeah, there was adhesive here, but the sides and the top don't seem to have had any adhesive, just at the bottom. All right, you want to check yours because yours, I don't know, the manufacturers, sometimes they're not consistent and they'll sometimes do some weird stuff. Anyways, we're going to remove the screws here. If I didn't mention earlier, to remove the bottom screws and the hinge screws, we are using a PH1 or JIS1 screwdriver. These screws look like a PH0 or JIS0. So let's remove these 4 screws here. Okay. Right, again, try and keep them in order because they can be different size, shapes, lengths. Usually they're all the same, but it's always a good idea to keep them in order anyways, because there can be some slight differences. Alright, so I'll get all of those out. Alright, once you get all 4 of those screws out, what you want to do, we lift this from the metal tab here and lift that forward. There is some slack here, so you can push the screen all the way, and you kind of want to guide the screen cable out. Okay, and then lay this forward, and then we're just gonna peel this adhesive off. But let's check the screen first to make sure it matches. Sometimes they send compatible models, so they're not the same, but this is the screen. And let me see if it's also matte. Yes, it is. So sometimes the screens are glossy instead of matte. And then, yep. So M133NWN1, that matches. This is R3, but the replacement is R4. Oops, sorry, that's all off the screen. But yeah, anyways, all of this matches except for this R3, R4. This is an R4. And then also it looks like this was bent during shipping. So usually you can just bend it back, but you want to be careful not to put pressure on the screen itself. If you have like pliers, you can use that to just clamp it and bend just the metal. So as you can see, I'm just bending the metal piece itself. I'm not like putting pressure on the screen. Okay. All right, just like that. All right, there we go. So we're gonna set this aside for now while we peel off this connector here. So what you do, just like kind of with this one, you want to peel this up. I'm going to use this plastic razor blade to make it a little bit easier to start. All right, just get underneath and kind of cut the adhesive. All right, once you cut the adhesive, then you can do like before, rolling the adhesive back. Okay, there we go. And then be careful once you get to the gold part. All right, this doesn't seem to have any latches or anything, so you pull this back, and then kind of like before with the wings, I don't know if I can zoom in with this because the other stuff is in the way. Let's see if I can move it around and kind of get a better view for you guys. So let's zoom in. Ooh, I moved it too far up actually. So here we go. All right, so basically what you do, same thing, get to the wings, use your fingernails or whatever tools you can, and then just pull this connector back. All right, just like that. All right, then we're gonna get the replacement screen and basically just put it back the same way. Okay, so get the screen, put this in place, line it up. Make sure you get the connector all lined up before you kind of pull on it. You don't want to damage the connector or the socket. Okay, all right. All right, once you get those two in, then you kind of want to try and pull this thing flat. If you can use the wings, I like to use the wings to kind of pull it in, just like the way we pulled it out. But you want to, again, make sure it goes in flat. Sometimes it goes in crooked and then it doesn't work right, so make sure. Okay, it was kind of going a little crooked, or it felt like it, so I'm going to readjust it. Get that in. Come on. It's hard to do this without having my head over the top, so I might end up blocking the view. Let's see. Why is the left side having a hard time? There we go. Okay, so do that, pull that in. There we go. I felt both sides click in. Then we can put the tape over the top. If you feel the tape was damaged and isn't going to hold strong enough, you can actually cut another piece of tape to put over it. So let me show you that. So I just get a piece of tape. Okay. All right, let's cut it. You don't need too much. And if you want to make it easier, to remove next time with the tape, you can fold over like a small piece like this. All right, so that way you kind of have a lift tab. And then you just put the tape over the top like this, press down on both sides and make sure it's completely seated. Okay, so let's zoom back out. Now we're going to just flip the screen back over. Make sure these cables and everything end up back on top. Okay, just like this. All right. And then get the cable along that routed area like it was before. And now just put back the 4 screws. Okay. So once you get those 4 screws in, this one, because we have to reassemble it first, I'm gonna peel off this, but normally I would leave this protective layer on to test the thing, because you never know, it might have issues, and then when you send it back, sometimes the manufacturers or the supplier, whoever shipped this, prefers it with this unpeeled. But anyways, I have to peel this off because I have to put it back together. So let's peel it off. And when you peel it off, you roll it like this. Don't pull straight up, because then it puts more pressure or stress on the screen. So I just roll it back like this. Okay. There we go. Got that off. Okay, so now we're going to put this piece back on. So just line it up. All right, and the way I do that is basically the opposite. Instead of pulling this up, we're pushing from out here. Okay, so you push from the outside. edge like this. Okay, so it's basically causing the inside to kind of go up on its own to get the clips back in. All right, just like that. Go around, same thing here, and then you can kind of go across the center to make sure that this is all clipped in. Go, just like that. Clip this side, there we go. And then you can kind of run your fingers along the top, make sure it's not lumpy or anything, so that all the clips are in. Go down the sides. Okay, and then we'll take this again. This one has two little parts that stick out, and that's the side that goes up this way. And then the bottom we're gonna put first, since that's kind of how it came out. We're gonna put it back reverse. So it kind of rolled out this way, so let's try and put it back that way. Okay, so line it up. Make sure this lines up with the edge of that white part that got seated earlier. Okay, and push that in. Right, once that's in, we're gonna see this piece. It's a little bit tricky, so I guess we do have to kind of pull this slightly back, roll that in, and then we can get that in. Okay, so I guess you do have to get this latch in first. Sorry. Okay, so get those two notches at the top in first, and then once you do that, I think, let's see, is it gonna clip back in? There we go. Yep. Okay, so you do get those notches in first, and then you can clip the rest in. There we go. So we got all the screen reassembled. We're gonna put it back together. So grab the screen, okay, and we are gonna try and put the battery last, since we can do it without, since we are able to do that. Sorry. With the keyboard all attached. But anyways, we're gonna put the screen screws back in. So I'm gonna switch back to the PH1 or JIS1 screwdriver. Okay. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna put the bottom screws in first. So we'll put this screw here, because all the stress is leaning backwards. Okay. And then we're gonna get this one and put this screw in. Alright, and now what we're gonna do, let's put in some thread locker. So I use like this red thread locker. It doesn't have to be this specific brand. Excuse me. Some people are saying that the thread locker eats the plastic, so you want to be careful. Don't use too much. I just use like a very little bit. Alright, just barely getting the screw, like not even a droplet. You probably can't even tell it's on there that much on the camera, but just very little, and then tighten it down. All right, once you get that screw down, you can go ahead and take the other one out and then add the thread locker to there. Very little. Put that screw in, tighten it down. All right, we'll get the other screw. Put the thread locker on there, tighten that one down. Alright, and then we're just going to get this cable, line it up, make sure it goes in straight, and then pull the wings and squeeze the connector with the wings to pull that in. Alright, and then we'll just roll this adhesive back down. It's not really important to have this adhesive. If you want, you can put like a double stick adhesive to kind of help keep it pulled in place, but it's not really that important. This cable holds pretty well. But if you want, yeah, you can add some double stick adhesive, or you can kind of just tape it a little bit better. But there's not really much you can tape it to. You don't want to tape stuff onto the board here, okay, because you can risk shorting something out if your tape isn't what do you call, like if it conducts electricity. Alright, so we're gonna put some more thread locker on here, tighten that screw down, take this screw back out. Alright, get some more. Go, tighten that in place. Alright, and then we'll do this one. Okay. There we go. And then we're going to put the wireless antennas back in. Alright. I guess, did it just follow this notch? I don't remember. I don't remember if it was that one or this one up here. Oh, works better up here. Either way, as long as it doesn't get smashed by the case, it should be fine. Alright. So now we're going to reattach the antennas. Let's zoom in. Okay, so let's see, should I have it go there? Yeah, it seems like it works better from there. Alright, so the antennas, you just line them up. Make sure that they are aligned. Alright, once you make sure they're aligned, usually if you rub your finger over the top, it will stay in place. Then you can push it down. Okay. Alright, same thing with the white cable. Line it up. This can be a little tricky, just because the cables want to kind of rotate themselves and not go in properly. But make sure you want to be gentle with these because they are fragile. Alright, it's lined up, and then push that down. There we go. Alright, so we got the antennas in. Make sure they're good. Alright, now we're going to reconnect the keyboard and the trackpad. Let's zoom out. So I showed how to do this earlier. Let me see. I don't know if I'll be able to get it in view of the camera. Let's see. I'll try and zoom in more on the connectors. And let's see if I can somehow get both in view. So I'm going to try and do the trackpad connector first here. Sorry, my head's going to get in the way, I think. Okay, and this is really hard to do without having my head straight over the top. Okay, and I have a customer here, so I might have to tell them I'll be out in a bit. Give me a second. Let's see here. Yeah, it's hard to do this. My head's going to have to be in the way, I think. Let's try from the side here. There we go. So we got the trackpad connector in. Put that latch down. All right, keyboard connector. Sorry again if my head's in the way. There's not much room to work here and it's hard to do. All right, there we go. Get that in, put that latch down, then put that in place. Let's see if I can show the battery. So I'm gonna put this screen side down, lift this open. Okay, then let's see here, we got the battery connector here. You want to hold on tight to this, don't let it fall over, and then snap the battery connector down. Okay, I might have to, okay, I guess you get it. Smash that battery connector down, and then once you get that battery connector down, of course you want to slide this metal bar back over, and there we go. So that's all there is. Close that up. Okay, let's zoom out again. And we're going to just snap all these things back in place. Okay, snap the clips back in place. I might have to plug it in, but I'm going to push the power button, see if it turns on. If it doesn't turn on, I most likely have to plug in the battery. Yep, I have to plug in the charger. Alright, so let me get the charger and I'll be back. Alright, so I got the charger. We're going to just plug this in. Make sure everything's working okay. Plug that in. Alright, and let's power it on. There we go. Chromebook, everything looks good. It's not flickering in real life, it's just the camera. But anyways, that's all there is to it. We're going to put back the screws. But yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully this video helped. If it did, please like, subscribe, help others find my videos. You're welcome to stay while I put back the rest of the screws, but that's pretty much it. So I'm going to put back all this. Alright. Just like that. go. Center screw. Last two. Alright, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!